Welcome to WDW UK Newscast, The Pod. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of WDW UK Newscast, The Pod. My name's Danny and joining me for the very first episode is Andy.
Howdy.
We got Lewis.
Hi, folks.
We got Chell.
Hi.
And we've got Matt.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone, indeed. So, WDW UK Newscast, we have decided as a team, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, we're giving you all the exciting news, updates from Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, basically anything Florida, Disneyland, Paris is even included in this as well. Maybe some movies and TV stuff too. But we are going to start today's episode, and the very first one, we're going to talk about something that is quite important to us all, because we've got a few people that we know that are heading out to Orlando very soon, and they're first timers. So we are going to discuss. We're going to discuss first timers and what first time visitors have to do. Some hints and tips on traveling to Orlando, Disney, Universal, maybe even chuck some SeaWorld in there. What do you guys think? Happy for this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Let's get it on.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've broken it down into a few different sections: when to go, where to stay, car, no car, transport. What do we do? So, I mean, why don't we start with when to go? Because obviously everyone's different, and some people can go during school time. Some people can go during half terms. I mean, what do you guys think when it comes to the right time to go to Disney World or Universal Orlando?
Who's going to go first?
Don't all go at once. Eh?
I know.
Being polite.
Shall I kick this off?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
You are the travel agent.
So it's a kind of a really open question, obviously, and as you kind of rightly said, Danny, it really does come down to when you can travel. If you're stuck to like school holidays, you kind of and bearing in mind that when we go from the UK, we tend to go for sort of 2 weeks. You're kind of then stuck to three areas: Easter break, summer holidays, and Christmas time. So if we want to just kind of peel those kind of areas off first, and then we can talk about if you're lucky enough not to have to go during the school holidays.
So you mean the really busy periods then?
Yeah. So I mean, I've not had the pleasure of going over Christmas or during the Easter break. I'm purely a summer guy. So if I talk about the summer, then you guys can chip in about Christmas, Chelsea, and and the Easter maybe. But so summertime, I think we all know that one of the key points to going in the summer is obviously it's blooming hot. So it's generally around about the mid 30s, if not into going towards the late 30s degrees. So it's warm. So that's the first thing you need to consider. If you don't like the heat, or you have kids that can't deal with the heat, then that maybe not be the time for you. The other thing to consider is that the American school holidays finish sort of like at the second week, second or third week into August. So the last 2 weeks of August is generally the quieter times to go. So if you have to go in August, aim for the last 2 weeks. That's kind of my tip, because that's generally when it's quieter to go to the parks. So that's kind of my summer tip. But just bear in mind that it does get really warm. So if you're going during those periods, and we'll cover this probably later on, take breaks. Don't try and do too much, but aim for the second half of the summer holidays, because that's when it'll be quieter.
Yeah, no, exactly that, and like it's picking that right time in the 6 weeks, isn't it? Like you were saying, you've got the slightly not as busy to the everyone's here now because the American schools are out as well. We've been a few times during Easter and spring break, and that can be crazy busy.
We've done April and it's been fairly mental.
Yeah. I feel like everyone on the planet is in Orlando when it comes to spring break, and I think Matt and Chell can agree with that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got to know how to queue.
Yeah, more onto that later. So I mean, Chell, you recently went over Christmas last year because you're super lucky. So you
the year before,
and the year, well, not the year before because we weren't allowed to go there. But
don't talk about that year.
Yeah, no, forget that. So do you want to sort of explain what crowds are like and the general busyness of the Christmas period when it comes to Disney and Universal?
Yeah, it's quite busy at Christmas time.
I'm getting a theme here. The theme is busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter when you go. It's always busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the temperature seems to change. So I've been at Christmas like the last 3 times, and it's all been different. Like we needed a coat and like wearing jeans and like wrapping up warm with scarves, to going last Christmas. It's so hot.
Yeah. So it's the weather in December and January is sometimes can be a bit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Anomaly.
That's the one. Yeah. It can an anemone. Don't hurt yourself, kid. But yeah, that you don't know what you're going to get from day to day.
No.
So
you always pack a variety of clothes.
I ran the marathon back in 2010, and it snowed for half a morning. Wow. Really the rubbish snow that we get here, but it weren't heavy or anything like that, but it still snowed. And I thought I was in the twilight zone.
The Floridians must have thought the world was ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this stuff?
So I mean, summer we've sort of covered there with time, the certain times to go, and December as well. Andy, can you sort of break down the April and Easter time a little bit more?
So as I said, we've done April, we've done sort of the back end of Easter going into spring break in 2016, and it's kind of like, depending where you sit, it's kind of a bit like what Lewis was mentioning with the summer breaks. If you get it in the right week, you're okay. You get it in the wrong week, it is absolutely crazy in terms of numbers. And we noticed that in 2016. What we've tended to do now is we tend to aim for the end of May. So what we would traditionally call the bank holidays in the UK. So those sort of 2 weeks are really fairly sort of, I wouldn't say quiet, but they're also not as crazy as they could be other times of years. And it's a nice time of year. So last time we went in May, there was virtually no rain. And then I'm jinxing that because I'm going in 2 weeks. It's going to lever it every day now. The crowd levels weren't too bad. But it's a nice time of year. So I love Flower and Garden because I can't do food and wine with young kids. So, I don't have the luxury of being able to go drinking around the world like some people might do that time of year. But I love Flower and Garden. I think it's absolutely great walking around Epcot looking at the topiaries. I really enjoy that sort of like that really nice heat and humidity with it. And for me, that's the perfect time of year to go. I do sometimes think I'd love to do September and particularly November to get Mickey's Not So Scary, Mickey's Very Merry. But beyond that, it's a lovely time of year to visit. And, you know, if you go at the right time, you get some of the H2O glow stuff going on and some of the other stuff, other little parties that they have going back and forth. So for me, it's a nice, Mardi Gras, yeah. So it's a nice kind of time of year to go. I would say that some of the days that you do bounce from it being humid to being, oh my God, it is so hot, save me now kind of moments. And, you know, Animal Kingdom's probably that one park you need to look at the temperature before you even get close to it. But I like it.
Hotter than the surface of the sun.
Welcome to the sunshine, people.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we've done April and May as well, and the weather is out of this world during that time. That was the year, I think, was 2009 when we done our cruise on the Magic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And that weather
It was so
was
hot.
out of this world,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember that was the year that I didn't protect myself from the UV rays as well as I could have.
Neither of
Ooh.
you did. Neither of you did.
I
It was
found
quite
a picture of me on Castaway Key yesterday, funnily enough,
Oh,
and I looked like a lobster in Hawaiian shorts. It was a painful couple of days after that.
I just remember getting back from the
Nice.
hotel after that, and we were sat out just outside the hotel restaurant, and I was just asleep on a table somewhere. I'd just gone.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, has anyone been at any other time of the year? February, any time like that, Lewis? You're not.
No, I haven't been in February, but I've been sort of like end of March into early April. So similar kind of Easter kind of thing, but it wasn't quite spring break. I don't think when we went at the time. So it was like you won't hear this said very often in this podcast, but it was quite quiet actually. For the Disney parks, we had a great time. So yeah, great, as Andy's already said, great weather. Parks were fairly, quiet. Just a fantastic time to go. The other thing I'd mention, although I haven't been during September, but I have been during October. But the September into October, and as Andy said, into November, they are kind of key times to go. You'll find the October half term week, particularly when it's Halloween week, that will be very busy in the parks generally. But during the rest of the time in September, it'll be it'll be nicer weather, a bit cooler, and probably not quite so busy in the parks.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's sort of a historical time where, like you say, crowds are slightly less, even to this day, going into that time, end of September, beginning of October. So it is definitely a decent time to go, especially with Not So Scary and Halloween Horror Nights happening at that time as well.
Yep.
So it's not as if there's nothing to do in September, because you've got all the Halloween events going on throughout the parks, and that includes SeaWorld and Legoland and all that as well, because they've all got their own events happening throughout that August, September, October time, because at least we forget Halloween starts in early August in Florida.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that was my favourite. What might be my favourite time to go. Like when I last went, end of October into November, we ended up getting to do Not So Scary and Very Merry Christmas Party, and you got to see the changeover as well of the decoration.
And we had nice weather, and it was nice weather.
And it was nice weather.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
But also, you have to remember as well, as in December, if you go we were still there at the beginning of January, and obviously the marathons, it starts to get busy.
Yeah.
The marathons will start, and everyone starts.
And that's the thing as well. You do need to keep an eye on when these Run Disney events are happening, because it's not just that weekend in January when stuff's happening. It seems to me that there's a Run Disney event on seemingly every month at this stage. It's like an Epcot festival. There's always something going on.
Well, when we went in April, we stayed at the Caribbean beach. What we didn't realise at the time that in April there's a formal name for it. So if anybody knows it, please put it in the comments or anything, whatever medium you're using. But it's the International World Cup of Cheerleaders, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, it was insane. That you'd be walking through the food court, you'd be walking along the beach, and there's people doing flips and making pyramids, and you're like, okay, yeah, but it is absolutely balmy. And then obviously, they do it at the Worldwide of Sports. I was there when they were starting to get ready for the Invictus Games, which was held in Orlando. I think that was 2016 as well. People don't realize what a great draw Disney is. More recently, I know we had the video that we won't mention about they're not cheerleaders. What are they? They're the spirit marchers, the bands with the spirit team, and they walk through Main Street in Magic Kingdom, and there's stuff going on all the time, everywhere. It's not just theme parks; it's everything going on. Yeah,
no, definitely. And I think as well, that's a pretty good segue into the next thing, which we'll talk about is the where to stay. And you've got on Disney property, off Disney property, international drive, villas, and if we talk about like the cheerleading events, that's you're looking more at the value resorts there on the Disney property of Pop Century and the All Stars and things like that. And again, we know that this is going to be down to families or individual budgets, because 2 weeks on International Drive is probably the same as 3 nights at a deluxe villa resort on Disney property, where those prices just go mental and through the roof. So I mean, where would you? I know Al's, Matt and Chell, we've got a history of staying on International Drive at Rosen Inn. We've practically grown up there, and we've done a few of the Disney resorts with Port Orleans and things like that. If you had a preference, obviously, if budget wasn't an answer, it wasn't a question, where would you prefer to stay? Would you prefer to be on property? Would you prefer Universal or International Drive Villa? What would you recommend to people if budgets weren't a question?
As much as I one day want to try a villa, and I will try a villa one day, but I'm not really interested on staying on property anymore.
No.
Since, when Extra Magic Hours went away and stuff like that, I thought, well, I'm not paying all that extra money for not really that much of a benefit. So give me International Drive any day. I want to do Disney and Universal anyway, so I don't need to stay on property. I'd rather stay in International Drive, and I can get to both. There's plenty of stuff around International Drive to do. I'm happy there.
Anywhere on International Drive, or the same place we've stayed the last 85,000 times we've been?
Yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere other than Rosen Inn. That's where I'm going all the time.
Fair enough. So,
yeah, there used to be so many more perks for staying on site. So years ago, I would have said, yeah, always stay on site, because there were so many more reasons to do that, and it was cheaper. Back in the day, like to stay on site, it was cheaper than what it is now. But now I'm happy with International Drive. It's close. I would like to try a Universal Hotel.
Mhm.
They do look. They look
Lewis,
look lovely.
yours.
They
Sorry,
look
I've got to take the
lovely.
pills. Sorry.
But no, I'm happy staying. You can walk to Universal from that hotel.
Yeah.
You've got Icon Park down the
That's a
road.
nice
You've got the
walk too.
restaurants. You can if you get a car, we drive into Disney Springs. You're just close to everything. SeaWorld, everything. The malls to go shopping.
Mhm. Oh yeah, can't forget them.
No, you can't.
I love walking
Never.
around the Florida Mall all day and not buying a damn thing. It's an experience of a lifetime. I mean, Andy, as a DVC member,
Yeah.
it's sort of between a rock and a hard place for you, really, isn't it? Because it's all down to how many DVC points you have on your contract and whether or not you want to be on property for your entire stay.
You and I have talked about this in depth, particularly in the last sort of 6 months, and with Chelsea on this, right? A lot of the perks of being at Disney, those extra magic hours, the free magic bands, the ability to book things in advance, the whole benefit of being at Disney is slowly dissipating to the point. You and I spoke recently about the fact me and my wife are seriously considering selling the DVC timeshare because it just doesn't make the financial sense it made 3 years ago when we purchased it. And all right, COVID's changed a lot of things. Like car hire now will cost you a spleen and at least one of your kidneys, and airfare's got incredibly insane. If only we knew a trustworthy travel agent to help us those particular problems. But yeah, I've got to the point. I've a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine up here, is getting married, and he was talking about not next year, the year afterwards, about us doing a couple's holiday with the kids, and obviously he's youngest when they have it. And I just said I'd love to do DVC, and I've got a feeling when I try in a few weeks, I'm probably going to eat my words. But there's places like there's a Holiday Inn near Kissimmee, and they do villas that are 2 3-bedroom villas, and they're massive. You're talking they put the DVC to shame, and the similar kind of price points to the Rose Inn and to the All Stars. Why would I spend thousands upon thousands of pounds to go stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is hands down my ultimate hotel of all time, when I just don't get the benefit of doing it anymore?
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, if you even look at it, I know you have to pay for it, but even the fact that the dining plan still isn't available or come back is also, one of those things that would sort of draw you to a Disney resort because of the convenience of the dining plan. And that's another perk, shall we say, that seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth, and no timeline yet on when it might be coming back. I mean,
that's the thing. It seems like they're taking away all the perks and just adding more stuff we have to pay for.
Well,
I can go and say I
mean, we know who's in charge. Let's not make it one of them podcasts, eh?
Keep it positive.
Yeah, keep it positive. Keep it positive. Even though
I look at the price point of a deluxe hotel. So, like, your Rivieras, your Grand Floridians, and then I look at the price points of like your Portofino Bays and your Hard Rocks at Universal, and I look at what Universal are still post-pandemic as well as pre-pandemic offering out. Hands down, Universal is going to start taking a lot of business in hotel chains if they're not doing already.
I mean, they will do, especially when Epic Universe comes online as well with your Nintendo World and all that fun stuff that's planned there as well. So I can 100% see all that happening. I mean, Lewis, what in terms of, because obviously when you go, you've got your own sort of preference on where you like staying, but do you have a preference that you sort of suggest to customers of yours, or is it all down to what their individual budgets might be?
No, it's actually down to a lot wider things, really. It's kind of it is down to budget, absolutely, but it's also down to how their family dynamics work. So, sometimes people like to have that space and want to have that place where they can just come away and completely be away from the parks, place to chill, their own space, their own pool. So a villa is absolutely right for them. But there are also those that want to be in the bubble of Disney. So if we talk about the bubble, we're talking about Disney, really. And Disney have like 25 properties on site. When we say on site, they have 25 on site hotels that you can choose from. I think they've got about 8 partner hotels, which is they're around like the Disney Springs area of the park. So that it does depend on the budget for sure. And again, from us from the UK, and we'll talk about this quite a lot in all of our podcasts, I'm sure. But when we talk about cost, it costs a lot for everybody. It's not just guys from the UK, but we do spend longer over there because of that it's natural because we get more holiday time, and also it's a long journey for us, so we want to make the most of it. But so therefore you're naturally kind of going to be there for 2 weeks roughly at average. So therefore people want to make the most of their money. Now when everybody here has already mentioned the perks that Disney used to provide that don't anymore, therefore it's not quite as a viable option for many, because you're not getting the free dining, for example, you're not getting the extra magic hours, you're not getting the transportation from the airport. So they're the things that you're not getting, but what you are getting is additional transportation within and around the Disney parks. So that is a perk still, and at the moment, well, this year, and I'm not sure whether I'm really going to be allowed to say this because I'm not sure it's come out yet, but there is going to be a 2023 offer. Has anybody seen this?
It's come out today. Yeah,
it came out today. Yeah.
So I wasn't sure whether it had been released or not yet. So yeah,
we'll bleep that bit. We'll bleep it.
No. Share all the stuff you can't share.
So for bookings next year on Disney site, you get $1,200 credit per room, I believe that, and that you can use that on dining or on merchandise. I believe that's right. I'm sure I read that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Somebody check it up.
I'm finding the email as we speak. Here we go. So it's up to $1,200 on dining and merchandise credit per room, 14 days for 7 magic tickets, and up to $250 Disney spending money per booking. So obviously the spending money and the dining and merchandise credit all depends on the which category resort you're in. So value, moderate, deluxe villas. Obviously, if you're in a deluxe villa, you're getting that $1,200. If you're in a value, I think it was something like $600 maybe, or just a little bit less. Because because we're so professional here, I did look into it, and but it's a slight perk.
It is. It's a slight perk. So you've got to kind of take what you can get right now. However, the other considerations are, if you've got family, you've got children, if they're younger younger children, you're going to probably want to visit Disney World and be around Walt Disney World. If you've got older kids, then the likelihood is you're going to favour Universal, the Harry Potter stuff. Therefore, and actually staying on site Universal is actually really good value. Like the dockside, the surfside,
and the summer
resort
in the summer,
and the summer, really good value, nice 2-bedroom
and the
suite.
smack bang on iDrive as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can walk out the dockside, and the IHOP is literally across your street. There's a Walgreens there.
Because that was all built on the old Wet and Wild site, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And
do
then
you also still? Sorry, I just wanted to. Do you also still get express passes for free at
Right.
uni. That's what you're about to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks. So the express passes come for free if you book a deluxe resort. So that's Hard Rock, Lowe's, Portofino, and Royal Pacific. There's the three, isn't it? I think that's just the three. But it's such good value in the sense that, you know, you can. If you're staying for one night, you can check in at 7 a.m. that morning, get your express pass, go and use it in the parks, stay your one night, get your express pass for the following day, and you can use that all day as well. So if there's a family of 4 in one room, that's about $250 saved, if not more. So
it's not a bad idea, that is it?
No. So really, that's something really worth considering. So
because we're meticulous in how we structure and plan things for our holidays, like you say, first time trippers booking for next year, looking at that great Disney offer. And like you say, when you get into your deluxe villas, it's like $1,200 for your holidays. And like you say, Lewis, most of us book for 2 weeks. So I want to break this down for the listeners. If you're listening today and this is your first time that you're booking Disney World, this is the expectation. So this is based on my family. This is a family of 5. If you're going to go to a quick service in any of the theme parks, you're looking at $60 to $80 per quick service meal. Okay. If you're going to go to a character buffet, so let's say a breakfast, Ohana, you're looking at, including tip, $200 to $250 per meal. Now, $1,200 is lovely, doesn't go very far. This was the benefit of the dining plan. Absolutely.
100%. But unfortunately, that we have to kind of look forward right now. And but no, I mean, like the dining plan was such great value. And it. I mean, I'm not sure the dining plan's ready to come back yet, and there's lots of elements towards that. I think it will come back sometime because I think it will need to.
Yeah. I think it's a case of, at the minute, it's probably lack of cast members because not everywhere has reopened yet. Because, you know, there's still a few dining locations still waiting to reopen due to, you know, lack of cast members currently available to work in those locations. So I think it's just a case of getting those cast members back, and then fingers crossed we get dining plan, or I imagine we're going to have dining plan with the plus or something like that. You know, we're going to genie the dining plan up, and
for an extra $50 a day, you can have one chicken nugget.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So, I mean, when we're out there, this doesn't really count for me because I don't have a license, but car or no car, or do we prefer public transportation?
Car.
Yeah.
Everyone's car.
I remember. I remember the time before our dad could drive, and
I used to love those taxis. I used to love it.
I used to love them as well. We had some of the best cab drivers in the world, but I don't want to go back in another cab.
No.
Like, it's so much easier. Like, you have a long day. You have a long day at Magic Kingdom.
We used to have to wait over an hour.
Yeah, I'm 7 years old. I've had a long day at Magic Kingdom. I've just watched the fireworks. I've now stood on the boat because there was nowhere to sit to get back to the car park. We're waiting for our cab. The cab eventually gets to us and then turns around and says, "I'm going to take multiple families." No, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that at all. Dad, learn to drive.
Yeah.
The Lynx buses were also fun, going to Florida Mall. And you have to go, you travel every back street in Orlando just to get 3 miles down the road. You
just have more freedom with a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can also take you places, you know, you could end up at Legoland, you could end up at Busch Gardens or somewhere else that's not smack dab in, you know, that's not Disney and Universal. Because let's not forget, you know, these other places do exist as well. And it's not all about, I mean, it is all about, but it's not all about the Disney and the Universals of the world.
Well,
So
me and Shell got to do Gatorland when Dad started driving out there, and that was brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Oh, I want to go there. We only went there that one time. I'd love to go there again.
Yeah. What's the name of the pass that gets you through the tolls as well? That's a prepaid thing, is it not?
Oh,
So you've got the Sun Pass, haven't you? But you've also got the Florida Visitors Pass.
That's
so
it. The Sun Pass and that, yeah.
So the Visitors Pass is like, you know, the little hooks that you have outside your room for, like, you know, leave me alone or do not disturb. You hang it in your wing mirror, and it has a pre-barcode that you get from a machine in Orlando International. You just hang that, but there's a lot of chat in the threads and the forums at the moment that are out there about that the toll booths that we currently have, where you can drive up, get your $2 out that you've got changed at NatWest and pay to go through, is going to be disappearing very, very soon, because COVID's taught the universe one thing, is that we've all got mobile phones and we can all go tap like that. And it's an economy boost. They're not paying Joe Bloggs to go and stand in a toll booth all day to take $400 or $500 worth of change when they're making thousands off the automated system. So we will be having a video of that in about a month and a half's time, explaining where this system is, how to access it, and the benefits of how it works.
Decent. Keep your eyes peeled, people. Keep your eyes peeled. Right. I think we've actually, one last thing before we move on with the cars is the price to hire the cars right now are probably at an all-time high. Would you agree with that, Lewis?
Crazy. So within the States, they have quite strict rules. Thank the Lord, they have quite strict rules over their hire cars. They can only have a certain amount of mileage. They can only be so old. Therefore, they need to be replaced quite quickly, particularly if they're hired to somebody like me, who is going to be flying into Orlando, but then immediately driving up to Atlanta and back again. So effectively, because they've got unlimited mileage on them, anybody can take them anywhere. So what's happened during the pandemic is that the cars are not being distributed quickly enough and made quickly enough, and there's problems with delivery, so they're not getting new cars in quickly enough. Therefore, there's a limit on the cars that are being hired, and therefore the car prices are increasing. I think it's something like triple at the moment, like what it used to be in 2019. It's just stupid money. And if I may, Danny, just to say, there are pros and cons of having a car, but it's mainly pros, really, because the public transportation around Orlando area and Florida is pretty poor. There's not a great deal of it, really, at all. The things to consider when you have your car is that not only do you have to pay for your hire car, you have to pay for your toll charges, as we've discussed. You also have to pay $25 a day for parking at every park, and that's something you really need to take into consideration. And if you decide to go to Walt Disney World, for example, and then go to Universal in the evening, you're paying twice. So you're paying
Universal
$25.
does offer free parking after 6 o'clock, though.
Right, good call. I thought it was $10, but cool. If it's free, even better.
It's also Disney and, if I'm not mistaken, Universal Resorts as well is a charge to park overnight.
It is. If you stay on resort, you're still paying to stay your car. Admittedly, a value resort is much cheaper than a deluxe resort, but still things to consider. The other thing to consider is if it's easy for you, use Uber and Lyft, the rideshare systems. They're good ways of getting around, particularly if you're staying on Disney or Universal resorts or down International Drive. So that's other transportation things to consider.
I do have a question to ask. It's a little bit of a curveball. I read something in a group on social media recently about somebody advocating driving to Disney Springs, parking up for free because Disney Springs is free, getting a bus to a resort. Yep, getting a bus to the Contemporary or to one of the boardwalks or Yacht and Beach Club, Chelsea, and then going into the parks that way.
Yeah, it's so easy.
But it's a cost saver.
How to beat the
I'd
It's a
buy
pain
DVC
though.
to get free
It
parking.
adds time out of your day.
Yeah.
I don't condone these actions at all.
I really thought they were doing. I really thought they were doing stuff to kind of curb that and stop that. I thought.
I think they'll make you pay to park at Disney Springs at one point. Like,
yeah,
they'll give you 4 hours free or something, won't they?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I think there'll be barriers at some point, and then it'll be a ticket. You pick your ticket up. If you've been there longer than 4 hours, you get charged $25.
Because if we all went to City Walk right now in the middle of the day, we would still have to pay that $25 to park at Universal, irrespective.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Indeed. Or $50 for prime parking.
Hey, well, if they want that. Sorry, can I just say one more thing about transportation?
Of course you can.
The other things to consider is that when you go into specific parks, sorry, that's easy for me not to say. So things like Magic Kingdom, as Matt rightly said, if you're driving to Magic Kingdom, then bear in mind that you actually probably have another 40 minutes to get into the park from there. Because you've got to take a monorail or a ferry boat and all sorts of things. So make sure that you've got those kind of times. So if you take an Uber or Lyft, you can actually be dropped off at the Contemporary, for example, and just walk across, and you'll be there in 5 minutes.
That's actually I've never thought of that. That's a really good tip. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the Contemporary. You're only getting dropped off. You're not parking there.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Why would you not do that?
Yeah.
So
100%.
Well, I had a thought about this earlier because again, somebody was asking, if a Pocahontas for breakfast, can I leave the car all day? And they went, no, it's 3 hours. Disney must be marking vehicles. So say me and Lewis go for breakfast at Chef Mickey's, they must be marking the registration on my vehicle as I go in and checking if it's still there X amount of hours late. And I'd be interested to know what Disney do. Are they towing the vehicle? Are they clamping it?
No, they've got Tony Stark building Ultron sentries that are going round and just destroying the cars.
Oh, here we go.
If they're there for too long. Yeah. But I think.
Marvel alert.
Yeah.
We'll do a cracking Star Wars reference in a bit. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't do that because he'll sip himself. See, Star Wars reference.
Right. I think the one bit of transportation we didn't really talk about is the Iride trolley on International Drive, which is a pretty good bit of transportation for International Drive. I think it's $1. Am I correct in saying $1 per ride? And
I thought it was a flat fee for the day, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe I should have looked at that before I spoke, but hey ho. But yeah, I mean, it takes you up and down International Drive, doesn't it? It takes you from one end to the other. Stops at SeaWorld, stops at the outlets.
Okay,
they're pretty good. They can get busy. and I think they run every 20 minutes. So if one is full, it's just going to drive past your stop. That's the only con I would say to it. But yeah, that's also not a bad little bit of transportation to
So
use while you're out there.
thanks to the wonders of Google. So 1 day pass is $5 a person.
Okay.
3 day pass is $7 per person. So there's a benefit to getting a 3 day pass. 5 days is $9. 7 days is $12, and a 14-day pass, ladies and gentlemen, is a whopping $18 per person.
That's not
That
bad.
is
Not bad.
That's insanely good.
That's really good. Yeah, like I say, it stops, and it's another one of those things. You can get on one of them up to the crossroads where Universal is, jump out there, walk across the bridge, and you're in Universal. You know, it can
SeaWorld as well.
SeaWorld as well, yeah. And like I say, you've got the outlet malls as well that are on the line. I think Icon, we would walk to Icon Park, but Icon Park is also a stop there. Loads of stops. We'll we might do a video on the Iride trolley. Might be worth breaking that down and going through the Iride trolley. So I think in terms of transportation, I would say we've spoken cabs, we've spoken Ubers and Lyft, we've spoken Iride trolley, we've spoken about driving. I mean, we didn't talk about Disney transportation, i.e. the buses, Skyliners, and things of the like. I mean, I can't comment on Skyliners. I've not had the opportunity to do it
No,
yet.
neither.
But someone in the group has.
That's
Thanks,
me.
guys. Oh, sorry.
It's not you,
That's
man.
me.
Skyliner, Chell, talk to me. Q-wise,
Yeah.
what are we...
I love it. I've never really queued to get on it, but
Okay.
I have the only 2 months I've been when the Skyliners opened is December and January, so it could vary, but I think it's good. And if you're at, we did one day when we were at Epcot, we just got on it and we went over to Caribbean Beach and Riviera. If you wanted to walk around the hotels, just nice to break the day up a bit, and then you can get it back. I like it.
Yeah,
and it's good if you're staying at the hotels that have got it attached. Like when we stayed at Caribbean Beach one year, and we had the Skyliner there from Hollywood Studios as well.
So one you would recommend using?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say they're better than? And I know they don't go everywhere like the buses go, but would you say they're better than or more reliable and more organized than a Disney bus?
They do come to a random stop sometimes.
So
you're just hanging in the air.
Right, so that will be
that could be
a
wheelchair. Yeah, but sometimes you could be hanging there for about 5 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Hanging there.
Lewis looks terrified.
But they're nice though. But you have to also they stopped it a lot during COVID, but I think they're back to it now. You do get mixed with other families.
Okay.
In your little pod.
Can they fit 13 of us in a Skyliner next?
I think it's 12.
Eh?
Right, the baby can go by herself.
12, yeah. We can send Oscar can go on his own.
Yeah.
No, but I like them. I think they're good.
Okay, so definitely worth looking at and using then. Why don't we move on then to why we go to Orlando, and that is the parks themselves. So I would say let's concentrate mainly on the Disney and Universal parks for now. And what are our favorites? What do we like doing? Any hints and tips of actually navigating your way around the parks in terms of, have we got Epcot? Well, we got Epcot, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom. and the two
Yeah, I mean,
Universal
thi-
parks.
this could be a 4-hour show and it's on its own, effectively.
Couldn't it?
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like this is going to be kind of bullet points,
Yeah,
effectively.
Mhm.
But I'm sure down the line we can all get into depth on each individual park and how to best navigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think the things that you have to consider is the kind of the age groups of your family, and the attractions that you want to see. If you're into shows, if you want to meet characters, they're all the kind of the dynamics that you kind of want to consider, really. So, but I think all of us would say there are people who are planners and there are people who are not particularly planners, but really and truthfully, you do need to do your research before you go to Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Particularly Walt Disney World. You need to do your research for the 4 different parks, to kind of understand what is there and what you would like to do. So whether that's YouTube videos, podcasts like this, do that research to kind of get a feel for those parts, because even if we talked about it for 4 hours, we wouldn't cover
No.
5% of it. So so I know that's kind of a bit of a rubbish answer to the question, but I think as a starting point you kind of have to kind of think plan and research is really the best tool, right?
I think you've always got to have some kind of plan when you go, even if you don't stick to it day by day. It's good to have a.
Let's be honest. The genie is a minefield in itself. To help you navigate around the parks, and I do put that in quotes because some of the stories coming out of Disney World aren't particularly great in terms.
It's very mixed, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
There seems to be a bit more. I think me and you were chatting the other day. It's Disneyland in California seems to be getting more slightly positive reviews of the genie system than Orlando is. So,
absolutely, and that's purely because. Sorry for jumping in there, Danny. But that's purely because everybody, and that's whether you stay in an on-site guest or, I mean, let's be honest, with Disneyland, the majority of people are annual pass holders or off-site guests. Everybody starts at 9 a.m. Whereas at Walt Disney World, if you're an on-site guest, you get the pick of the bunch on the Genie Plus. Therefore, at 7 a.m., you can start making your ride reservations. And then if you're an off-site guest, you have to wait until 9 a.m. to do that. So that's kind of why it doesn't work quite so well.
Yeah. So this is where, like you were saying, Lewis, this is where that planning really does come into play. Like, what do we want to ride? What do we want to see? What do we want to do? Where do we want to eat? Because even dining comes into Genie. Genie will, the free version of Genie will attempt to plan an entire day out for you in terms of what you've picked for your preferred attractions, shows, character experiences, and dining. Whether or not it gives you what you want is a completely different. That is a rabbit hole that I'm not going down right now, but that has made the planning, I would say, slightly more difficult than it used to be, than when we had the old fast pass system. But Universal is slightly different, isn't it? It's you don't need as much planning in terms of in-depth planning and really going in to the nitty gritty of Universal Orlando, you could, in theory, rock up to Universal that morning and sort of go in blind and still have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the pass that they do, that ultimate pass, just is legendary. And I thought that's what they were going to do with Genie. You know, like they had was it the Max Pass in California? It was such a revolutionary piece of kit because you could just go in and jump the queue, but you'd have to pay for it. And you know, as daft as it sounds, I've got no issue paying a little bit extra for a deluxe resort where I get that included as a perk. Like I said before, Universal, if Disney turned around and said, "Listen, we'll increase your hotel stay by another 1,200 for the duration, but in the process, you get this 100%." So, yeah, I must admit, I'm not a big fan of it. And again, we spoke about this. I will carte blanche refuse to pay for a service that is so spotty and doesn't give me anything close to what FastPass Plus gave. So.
Look forward to Genie being added to the UK bundles as a free perk soon, I'd imagine. Yeah, I mean, what we'll do, we'll go through break down the Disney parks, not in major depth, but if we just pick out the highlights of that park, in our opinion. You know, we can sort of give a few hints and tips on how to navigate your way around Disney World. So if Matt, do you want to go first with Magic Kingdom and tell your highlights?
Certainly. Sorry, I'm just moving around just moving around the house.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Magic Kingdom. Before I start, I will definitely firstly say, when it comes to Magic Kingdom, for first timers listening, this is the park to begin at, and it is the park to end at. Every time.
Preach.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, Magic Kingdom. Highlights of Magic Kingdom. There's so much to highlight in Magic Kingdom. You know, you're from going down through Main Street, like I'm now trying to think of things that I'm doing the moment I get there, and I'm going down. Sorry, crying's going to be one of them.
It's so pretty.
But no.
Kiss
So
the ground.
I'm getting there. I'm going through the Main Street Emporium for a bit, because I'm not going to buy anything straight away, but you got to go and look. It's brilliant. And just at the top of Main Street, you got Casey's Corner for an hot dog. And even if the park's just open, it's never too early for an hot dog from Casey's Corner.
Breakfast hot dog.
Yeah,
wicked.
Breakfast hot dog is the best. And then, you know, it's the spoke and wheel design. It's split into the lands. I'm probably saying I would always go Fantasyland first. I don't know why, but I seem to think we've never not done that. Every time we've gone Magic Kingdom, I seem to remember we always tend to go Fantasyland first. And then just
It's changed now, Matt.
Yeah, but we're big boys and girls now, so we go for the Space Mountains and the Big Thunders, don't we? Rather than
I'm just straight to People Mover. Just get me on People Mover, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Then you can sit and plan your day whilst you're on People Mover. Then
with the Casey's hot dog.
You can look at the map. You know, decide what you're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly looking forward to my next time, because I've got the unique experience of it being, what is it? It's my 29th time. It's It's
You're behind.
Molly. It's Molly's my fiance to listeners. It's her first time. It's going to be my 3 children's first time. That sounds weird saying 3 children's.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I'm the madman that's going to take a 5-month-old to Walt Disney World.
It's a trouble.
I've done an 8-month-old, but I think you're pushing a bit too far there.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be easy.
So what attractions would you, if you had to pick 3 attractions to do at the Magic Kingdom to definitely do, what would you pick? What would your 3 be? And why would it be People Mover, Haunted Mansion, and Small World?
I mean, well, you've picked those, so I'm not going to pick them.
No, go on. What would it be?
I'm doing going to do the mountains. I'm going for Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and Splash Mountain.
Oh,
I want all of them. I don't think you can have a day at the Magic Kingdom without doing at least one of them. And I don't think a day at the Magic Kingdom's perfect unless you've done all 3.
Well, just think, in 2032, you'll be able to ride Tron as well.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, but then obviously, hopefully Tron's going to be open, and then I'll get to go on that, and then everything's probably going to get thrown out the window.
Yeah. Look forward to that boarding pass.
Yeah, can't get enough of the boarding pass. Food. What are we doing? Food and entertainment. What are your highlights there?
Food, right? I love
Casey's
Cosmic
Corner chewing.
Cosmic Race.
Yeah, thanks, Chell. I'm always going. I always want to go Cosmic Rays for lunch. Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe has something for everybody, including a life-size animatronic alien that croons.
Oh, he's so cool.
Sonny Eclipse is the greatest musician in the cosmos, and I get to enjoy him while eating my sweet chicken nuggets. I
love it.
I can't wait to eat those chicken nuggets again.
I know. Oh dear, Cosmic Rays. He is good, old Sonny.
Yeah,
good.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Anything else you recommend?
Oh, I was as big as the queue gets, and as like it's not a long ride, and the queue does get big. But I love Peter Pan's Flight is just it's such a great ride. So things like Peter Pan's Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Pirates, yeah,
Haunted Mansion, Small World.
All those classic dark rides.
Everything.
Small World's a classic.
Yeah, Small World's. You can't not do Small World. That song's going to get in your head all day. It's going to annoy the hell out of you, but it doesn't matter because it's great.
Yeah. No,
Are you going to go do the? You're going to go do the Hall of Presidents?
Yeah, I'm going to do the Hall of Presidents.
I've not seen Trump in it yet, so yeah.
No.
It's great.
Oh, topical. And then of course you've got the Enchantment Fireworks at the end of the night to cap off.
Very much looking forward to seeing
at the Magic Kingdom.
Are you? You're looking forward to it?
I haven't seen a Disney fireworks show live in. By the time I go, will be 8.5 years. If I haven't mentioned this to you before.
Oh yeah, so you didn't even see Happily Ever
After?
Yeah,
I did.
No, I didn't. The last thing I saw was Wishes.
Wow.
I've had a very long hiatus from Disney World, and I'm not thrilled about that.
Just a tad. Just a tad. Well, you wanted kids. Let's move on to let's move on to Epcot. Lewis, what would your highlights be for the Epcot Center? Yes, I called it Epcot Center.
Nice. Yeah. So Horizons. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
don't break my heart.
Yeah. So Epcot is actually really, I think it's still my favourite park, even though I come away every year and say, "Oh, that was my favourite park." When I go back to it and I think about it, Epcot is my favourite park. Right now, it's a bit of a building site, but I'm sure that's not going to be in that way for too much longer. But but it's yeah, it really is a park of two halves. So you've got the I can't even remember what it's all changed now, isn't it? That future world and all that
World
kind of stuff.
celebration, world
Yeah.
world something, and obviously world showcase stays the same.
Yeah. So, but I think something from an attractions highlight at this moment in time, you've got soaring, you've got test track. If you're really a bit nuts, mission space. So, I mean, I think what we need to start off with is that it's actually a really stunningly beautiful park when it's not a building site. And it's also the park of the festivals. So there's plenty of festivals to do, and their festivals are all year round. There's 4 different festivals. There's the Festival of the Arts or Farts. There's the Food and Wine Festival. There's the Flower and Garden, and then there's the Festival of the Festivals, the holidays, Festival of the Holidays,
Festival of the Christmas Festival.
So you've got lots of other kind of food things to. Again, why I like the park. So lots of food establishments, loads of choices to kind of eat. It's not full of like massive attractions, although it has just had a new one put in, which we'll come right back to. We'll come back to. But like I say, soaring is there. You've got test track. You've got mission space. You've got Ratatouille now, the attraction, new Ratatouille in the France Pavilion. And you have got the Frozen. Is it Frozen Ever After?
Frozen Ever After.
Yeah. So you've got that attraction. Round World Showcase, you've got 11 pavilions. I want to say it might be less. It could be 9. But you've got lots of different countries represented, and lots of things to see, do, eat in those as well. So well worth a look round for that. One of my favourite attractions is in the wonderful globe sphere. So, and now I love it so much I've completely forgotten its name. Spaceship Earth. There you go. So that's another great attraction too. So
the golf ball.
And the golf ball, yes, indeed. But obviously, as I've alluded to, there's also the new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster that's just been added and is opening on the 27th of May, I believe.
It is indeed.
So, yeah, and
incredible.
From all accounts, it's got some really decent reviews.
Yeah,
it just looks fantastic.
And it's got some really good Easter eggs in there as well.
Yeah,
original Epcot Easter eggs.
Yep, it does.
So
it really does.
Keep your eyes and your ears open.
There you go. Tips. From a food point of view, although it's not there at the moment, everybody knows that I'm going to say breakfast at Garden Grill is one of the best places to have a breakfast. Unfortunately, it's not open for breakfast right now, and I'm praying that it will be for July, but I'm not counting the sausages at the moment.
Did it not reopen for breakfast? Just the character interactions were different?
No, it's still not open for breakfast yet. It's just lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner, okay.
Yeah, so that's a fabulous restaurant, even probably for lunch and dinner. but it's not. That's not my favorite kind of meal there.
No.
So that's something to consider. You've got some incredible places like Tep and Edo. You've got the Moroccan spice
American Spice Road Table and
table, yeah.
Restaurant
So,
Marrakesh.
Yeah, the Rose and Crown. If you want a bit of home cooked food,
Yeah, if you're missing it that much.
If you're missing it that much, it's not bad. The Scotch egg is okay. So lots of different places to eat, and of course now the best thing that is there is now we have Stargate, or Harmonious, as they like to call it. So a show that I've not seen. A show that I've not seen. I'm sure I'm going to really miss Illuminations. However, looking forward to seeing what Harmonious does and how it is.
Yeah.
And from what I've kind of seen, it is a spectacle, but it's completely different. And so then I think that's kind of covers. Does that cover everything? Roughly?
I would say that covers a lot of Epcot.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of it. So
according to Matt, it doesn't.
Oh, what, Matt?
I always forget the name of it. What's the Chinese restaurant called?
Nine Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh, you love it, don't
That's phenomenal.
Well, I can't believe you love it that much.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Sorry?
Orange chicken?
No, I had a sweet and sour pork Hong Kong style. And it was so good.
Fair enough. Well, from traveling the world, we are now going to travel into the films and the outer reaches of the galaxy with the world's biggest Star Wars. With Chell, who loves Star Wars, and is, I think, the only one that's visited Galaxy's Edge. That's here. Go on, Chell. Tell us all about your understanding of Galaxy's Edge and exactly what's happening.
I can't tell you anything about it.
Can I just say there's no justice in the world?
No.
It's great theming. I can appreciate all that, even though I haven't seen a single Star Wars film. The theming's great. The ride's great. I love it. Hollywood Studios is my favourite park.
She doesn't know who that guy with the big red laser sword is coming at her, but
I understand the concept of the ride, and at the end I'm still like, are we good? Are we still alive?
She knows it's good versus evil. But let's start at the beginning with Hollywood Studios. Let's break down some of the major attractions that you would recommend people go on there.
Okay, so we've got Tower of Terror.
It's
a must. It's a must. You got to do it. It's great.
Yeah.
And Rock and Roller Coaster.
When it's not closed down and working fine, because at the minute it's having a bit of trouble.
And then obviously you've got the new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Railway. Easy for you to say.
Although I love it, but it's just not. It's not a great movie ride, is it?
No.
It's not.
No.
That I love that, but it's a very good ride.
Okay.
And, I didn't actually queue that long for it when we were there. It was really quick. We managed to do it the whole time we were there. We managed to ride that 4 times. So
nice.
It's pretty good.
Mum couldn't get enough of it.
No. And then obviously you've got Toy Story Land. So you've got Slinky Dog, Toy Story Mania, Alien Swirlers, Doodah thing, which is great. I love Slinky Dog. Great ride. A great little land for all the kids.
Cool.
So colourful.
What about why don't you go into Galaxy's Edge now? Talk us through some of the stuff in Galaxy's Edge. And I'm saying this in all seriousness because I know you enjoy Galaxy's Edge for what it is, and it's not just me going, oh, she's never watched a Star Wars film in her life. I know
the theming's great.
I know you've walked into Galaxy's Edge and gone, okay, this is pretty epic in terms of.
Yeah, I suppose if you're a Star Wars fan, it feels like you're actually in the film. I wouldn't know what that's like, but I imagine that is what the film looks like.
Yeah.
I am going to
TV.
cry when I get in there.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like, when I see
just-
the Millennium Falcon, it's just going to. There's going to be
Yeah.
no end of tears.
Yeah,
We were talking about doing Smuggler's Run the other day, and my daughter said, "Oh, can we both, both me, my eldest girls, like, can we fly the Millennium Falcon?" Hell no! You don't get that responsibility. You can sit at the back and be a mechanic. I'm flying it.
Yeah, yeah. I've already said this to Charlie, my eldest. He said, "Oh, can I pilot it?" Not if you don't get picked to be pilot. If I'm picked to be pilot, I'm sending us light speed. This ride isn't for you. This is for the grown-ups that have dreamed of flying the Falcon their entire life. This isn't for a 7-year-old that's not even watched Star Wars properly yet, or a Chell who's not even watched Star Wars yet. But yeah, go on, talk us through some of the food then at Hollywood Studios, because as somebody that explodes when she eats gluten into 1,000 pieces, you've got some pretty good offerings at
Yeah.
Hollywood
Lots
Studios.
of gluten-free options at Hollywood Studios. We've got Woody's Lunchbox in Toy Story Land, which do a really good grilled cheese sandwich. Top tip for people as well: just buy a kids meal because they're quite big and saves money. Or get an adult's meal and share it with someone if you're not a big eater, because the meals are quite big for me anyway. Matty's probably thinking in his head, no way, I'm not sharing a meal.
I ain't sharing nothing.
Joey don't share food.
Guys, but I love Rizzo's pizza.
Yeah, she does.
I love it. They do an amazing gluten-free pizza there. It's just unreal. I'm going to show you now on screen. You ready, everybody? That is the gluten-free cheese pizza.
It actually looks edible compared to the cardboard ones you get that have gluten in it.
That's the whole meal. So that's a normal one. Gluten-free. That's a meatball sub. And they all come with a Caesar salad as a meal.
Nice.
Oh. See, the trick is we should be ordering gluten-free so that we actually get a quality meal.
Yeah.
I just want to, as someone that I'm going to say I enjoy the sport of eating, and it is a sport. As someone who does enjoy eating, there's a lot of things especially in Hollywood Studios. I'm going to pick the gluten-free option because it just looks nicer. That pizza looks nicer than the normal pizza. And
yeah,
I don't know, Chell, if you've still got the picture of your grilled cheese, but that grilled cheese sandwich from Woody's Lunchbox, that gluten-free one looked 10 times better.
The grilled cheese. That is very nice. Don't currently have a photo right now.
Gluten-free is the way to go.
I'm still getting my normal chicken nuggets though.
If you are listening to the audio version of this, you can't obviously see the picture.
Oh, you can't see the lovely photos that are getting photoed now.
Chell's just popping up on the screen, but
that is a grilled cheese from Woody's Lunchbox.
Very nice. So if you are listening audio, you can head over to YouTube and see these pictures.
Also, the Backlot Express, they do lovely food.
Thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yes, I very much like the Backlot Express. Yes, it is a good one. I like that as well.
The Backlot Express is one of the few places where you can really abuse getting free drinks.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Chell, do you just want to go back to the attractions very briefly and just sort of not sort of spoil it, but just sort of break down the epicness of Rise of the Resistance?
Oh, am I the best? I was saying, am I the best person to explain this? But I suppose I'm the only one that's rode it.
Exactly.
But I don't know because I don't know.
No pressure.
I mean, you don't need to tell us exactly what happens, but I mean, it's a trackless ride system, isn't it?
Yeah. From even as soon as you step into that queue, like I assume you're in, This is I'm the worst person to explain it, but you know, there's something that happened in the queue which I thought was the ride, and it wasn't even the ride. Like, it's just so much going on.
Yeah. So
Ride.
it's and for me, again, as somebody that's not ridden Rise, this would be the one attraction in Walt Disney World that I would part money with for a lightning lane.
Yeah.
This would be the only one, just to make sure that
That you
I'm
get on it.
definitely going to get on it in the 2
Yeah.
weeks, and then after that, I would get in the queue and just pray that
Because the
nothing
queues,
goes.
there's loads of theming in the queue, so
Yeah, and
there's so much going on.
Yeah, and then we've also got the return of Fantasmic.
Yes, my
this
favourite
year-
show.
this year as well. So if you are lucky enough to be out there this year when Fantasmic returns, you've got some new scenes that are coming into that as well. I think we've got Moana. Moana. There's a few more. The Pocahontas scene has been removed. Praise Christ. And
It's a bit weird, that one.
yeah, just a bit. But yeah, we got some new scenes coming. I think there's an Aladdin scene as well.
And also, you must see Beauty and the Beast, and you have to see Indiana Jones stunt show.
Still amazing after so many years.
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I can't imagine you've ever watched an Indiana Jones film either.
I haven't either, but the stunt show is incredible. It's my favourite show. I just love them. Hollywood Studios.
And does it not spur you to go and watch the film thinking, I've seen that stunt being performed?
No.
It's good. It's not that
Not
good.
at all.
I just love it. It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hollywood Studios is just and in Galaxy's Edge you can get look at the milks.
Oh yes.
Green and blue milk.
Green and blue milk.
Say the blue one. But the blue one is better. Tastes like like a twister lolly. The blue one does.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
lovely.
I don't like Twister lollies.
Oh.
Don't
get it then.
Yeah, don't get it then. Cool. So what we'll do, I'll quickly run through my Animal Kingdom highlights.
Is there any?
Yes,
There are loads.
It's the most stunning park they've got. Everything's on point. You may not like it, but I adore this park with every ounce of my being. I am going to start in Pandora, the world of Avatar. I'm going to go.
Matty, close your ears.
I'm going to go for Flight of Passage as the main highlight of this entire park. Think Soaring does Star Tours, and it comes out of some sort of hybrid monster that is Avatar Flight of Passage. Remarkable attraction. The chairs can be slightly uncomfortable depending on body shape. I will point that out because of the way that you do need to sit and the way you are locked into the ride vehicle. So just bear that in mind. You've also got the Navi River journey, but we're not going to talk about that. That is pretty stunning, but it's not the longest ride, but it does have some pretty long queues. Yeah.
Let's just say it's 5 minutes of your life you'll never get back again.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And so you've also got the Cetuli Canteen, which I've had a couple of meals there now, and that was a very nice meal at the Cetuli Canteen. So I would definitely recommend at least looking at the menu and maybe previewing some of the food via the Googles. We'll leave Pandora. We'll go Dinosaur. Yep, you can pull your fingers out now. Pull your fingers out, Matt. There you go.
Okay, so I've gone this far without it being spoiled for me at all. I'm not learning a thing.
Dinosaur is also one that I would recommend. A very fun thrill ride, and if you're a fan of the CSI Vegas show, you will recognize the man playing Dr. Seeker, the man that's going to send us back in time to save the iguanodon. Kilimanjaro Safari also is a must. The reveal of the savannah as you come around the corner to see all the animals in their natural habitat. Yes, I said it. For those of you that watch the old school Disney planning videos, you'll know exactly where that reference comes from. Yeah, and can't forget Expedition Everest, can we? Expedition Everest. But I wouldn't say it's not the most thrilling, but the backwards part of the ride is one that can disorientate you a little bit because it is in the dark.
I honestly love that ride. I think it's
really
great.
I like it. I do like it. Yeah, I mean, there's Finding Nemo the musical that's returning this year, as well as Finding Nemo, the Big Blue World. So that's changing. I think they're adding some Finding Dory elements into the show. No parade at this park. I'm not even going to mention Kite Tails. What else?
Can't wait.
Places to eat at Animal Kingdom definitely would be Yak and Yeti for me. Either the quick service or the table service. I've not eaten at Tusker House, but I have heard good things again about the breakfast there. So that's on my to-do list, definitely. I was about to say Rivers of Light then, but that's gone.
That was great.
Yeah, wasn't it just? We've got the obviously the animal experiences as well, with the Maharaja Jungle Trek and the Gorilla Falls expedition, to take a look there and see some of the animals that are at Animal Kingdom. I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, Festival of the Lion King.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Really fun, high energetic show. Definitely worth taking some time out in your day to go and see. And then I'm just thinking, food wise, again, I would say they are the main ones for me. And obviously you've got your Starbucks and all that fun stuff there as well. Anyone got anything else from Animal Kingdom that you think I might have missed?
Tusker House.
Yeah, I was going to say Tusker House.
I said it for breakfast. I've not really looked into anything other than breakfast there. Tiffin's is also meant to be a real good place to go for.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't take kids there, but definitely if you're kidless, then worth a go. And then you've got the Rainforest Cafe just outside as well.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, but it's fun.
There's a particularly nice beer you can get at Animal Kingdom.
All right.
Yeah, it was last time I got I think it was the Savannah Draft, I think it was called.
Okay.
That was I mean, I don't really like to drink out in Florida just because the heat and the beer instantly affect me, and I just sort of felt like I wanted to go to sleep straight away. But
yeah,
for like the brief 5 minutes before that happened, that was a really, really nice beer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Andy is gonna highlights of Disney Springs.
NBA so Disney Springs. Yes, that's gone. Disney Quest gone. Disney Springs, for those of you who might be returning back to Disney after a long, long time, used to be Pleasure Island, used to be Downton Disney. If you had ever watched the Modern Family, you'd get that reference. It's gone very upmarket. It's very sort of bespoke boutique kind of shops nowadays, whereas your years ago, it's probably a little bit more aimed at the tourist ways. It is a very focal sort of Florida hangout for Central Florida. My sort of big free call outs is, I've got to say, is Deluxe Burger has some of the nicest burgers I've ever had. Chef Art Smith's Homecoming is a beautiful Floridian restaurant. And if you're looking for an experience that you're not going to get anywhere else in Orlando, is an experience called Void. Now, it's a virtual reality attraction that you can go in groups of 4. They've got 2 different versions of the game there. So there's one where it's a Wreck-It Ralph game, which I will admit I haven't played. But then there's also the Star Wars one where you're being led by Cassian Andor to infiltrate a Imperial base. It turns out you're trying to steal something. I won't give away what it is, but it is featured in The Mandalorian. And it is just phenomenal. And there is a scene where you end up going up against Darth Vader and you just really want to get him, but you know you ain't going to win. And yes, it's just hands down one of the best sort of out of park experiences you can do. But you know what? If you're looking for something for that guest, you have got what is probably still officially known as the biggest Disney store in the world. The thing is huge. And there is just absolutely everything. You got Ghirardelli's chocolate emporium, ice cream there. You've got Blaze pizzas. You've got
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, God, there is just so much.
Polite Pig.
It is Polite Pig.
Oh,
Right,
Chicken Guy.
yeah. Chicken Guy.
Oh yes, Chicken Eye.
I can't wait to
I-
try Chicken Guy.
Sprinkles.
I even did Planet Hollywood one, yeah, and that was
What it is?
it is.
So much.
Is the Coca-Cola experience still there?
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
literally just 2 floors of Coke merchandise,
Yeah,
and
we've
then
got
a lot of bar upstairs.
M&M's World as well is there now.
Yeah, because you can get your own little names. Like I could get a bag of M&Ms, and they could all say Andy on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
just
a,
like-
and a picture
yeah.
of you as well.
And a picture of you.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
screw the trailer experience. M&M's with my name on.
Yeah.
When's everybody's birthdays?
Yeah.
And
Wahaha.
they do
Yeah.
good
Nice.
entertainment at Disney Springs, like singing.
House of Blues.
Like in-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they got the stage in front of World of Disney. Is that what you're in front of World of Disney as well? They do
That's it.
when they got that big stage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still there.
That's
you saw
where
it.
that's where we learned how to do the hoedown throwdown from Hannah Montana.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is quite a lively place to go, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
from that, or was it from the fact you religiously watched the film Hannah Montana?
Oh, I watched Hannah
Oh,
Montana the movie.
I will
on-
unashamedly
on-
admit that I watched Hannah Montana and loved it.
Yeah.
I still can't
Should
get
have
over
won
the
Oscar.
Is it the dad's love interest is Jan out the office? I never put that together until like 2 years ago. If you've ever watched The Office, it's great.
Yeah. Yes. Right. One last thing to have a quick chat about is sort of managing expectations when people are out there. I think managing expectations for me is understanding that you aren't going to get everything done that you want to get done, and really understanding that you may not get to ride that attraction, you may not get to eat at this certain place, you may not get to see this show. Things happen, attractions do break down, shows do get cancelled, not all the time, but they do. So for me, it really is understanding that you aren't going to get everything you want done. There's so much to do. I think the only way you can get it all done in one trip is if you go there for 6 months, and even then you probably won't get everything done. There's that much to do. I mean, is there, with you guys, is there anything that expectation wise, or the way you manage your expectations when you're out there?
I would say choose the things that you want to do the most as a family and focus on them, and then the other stuff are nice to do if you can.
Yeah,
And
no, absolutely.
I think
spend
don't-
everything on day one.
Do everything on day one.
No, don't spend everything on day one.
Sorry. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Take it from the master.
the only thing I would say is don't forget to take breaks. You know, don't try and do massive stints like from 7 a.m. all the way to 12 p.m. every day. You know, you'll just have a meltdown with it by day 2. Take breaks. Take breaks.
Absolutely.
Particularly with kids. I mean, Matt's obviously mentioned he's going to go away with a 5-month-old, and I've done it with an 8-month-old. You've got to think about the young ones. The youngest can't take it as well as we can with that heat, the dehydration.
I think poor Chell, she doesn't have a kid, but she's going to be surrounded by 5 of them next April. Poor girl.
I know.
She loves it, I'm sure.
She can't wait.
I love it. But I'm going to want to be getting all this stuff done, and it's just going to slow me down.
Children, I need to Instagram this donut that I can't eat because it's got gluten in it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm coming.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone have anything else to add on the overall discussion of first timers and things to look out for and do?
I think we've tackled a fair bit.
Yeah.
I think the only thing to mention actually is that we've covered the Disney parks quite in depth, but don't forget there are plenty of other parks.
Yeah,
particularly if you love Harry Potter, Universal is your thing. Head there. If you love sea life, SeaWorld is great. If you love amazing thrill rides, actually SeaWorld's quite good there too.
Yeah.
But if you like amazing thrill rides, head over to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you like space, Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah.
Like Legoland. If you like Gators, Gatorland. There's something for everybody.
Kennedy was great. Kennedy was a great day.
Yeah.
Very worth it.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cool.
So,
well, I think that's going to do us then, guys, for our very first episode of The Pod.
Absolutely.
If you've listened on any of the podcast services that we're going to be on, or you've watched on YouTube, we do thank you so much. We're just getting started. We are going to be doing these podcasts once a month to start with. We are going to be releasing videos and different series of stuff throughout the weeks leading up to podcasts being released as well. So keep an eye out. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at WDW UK Newscast. Please, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can also give us guys a follow on social media as well. We'll put all our Instagrams and Twitters, if you want, as well onto the show notes of the YouTube video and the podcast itself. But yeah, I think for a first episode, hour and a half chatting about first timers, I think we've done an all right job here, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could have been worse. Could have been 3 hours.
It could have been 3 hours, and we could have all been in trouble. Well, that's going to do it for episode 1 of the WDW UK Newscast, The Pod. Have a great, big, beautiful day, and remember, tomorrow is just a dream away. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.